All right, so starting off with number 39. If k is an even integer, determine whether each of the following is even or odd. So, all we know is that k is an even integer, right? Well, if we take an even integer and square it, it should be even still, because an even number times an even number is going to give you an even value. Basically, an even number multiplied by anything but 0 will give you an even number. So this one is definitely even. Now, if you add or subtract a number that's even from an even number, it'll stay even. But if you add or subtract an odd number, then it's going to change to odd. So on this one, for B, we have k plus 1 and k minus 1. Since we're adding 1, that's going to change to an odd number. Since we're subtracting 1, it's going to change to an odd number. Two odd numbers being multiplied together will give you an odd number. It will not give you an even. For 3k, again, k is even. So an odd number times an even number will give you an even number. So that will give you an even number. On this one, 5 times k, which is an even number, that part of it is still going to be even. But then once you subtract an odd number, it changes to odd. So that one doesn't work. So first one's even, second one's odd. So right next to it, even, odd, even, odd. All right, on number 40, find the arithmetic mean of h, negative h, and 12. Again, arithmetic mean is the same thing as saying an average, right? That's what mean was. It's an average. So we're averaging these. So we have h plus negative h plus 12 over 3. At first glance, it looks like a really hard problem. However, h and negative h cancel out. So that just gives us 12 over 3. Well, 12 divided by 3 is 4. That's our answer. On number 41, if c is 10 and d is 1/4, which of the following must be an integer? Now, you don't actually have to do the math on every single one of these. All that you need to understand here is that an integer is a number that is a whole number that is either positive or negative. And then you also include 0, right? So whole numbers, both in positive and negative form. So if you look at these, this first one is saying we do 10 times 1/4, which is the same thing as 10 divided by 4. Is that going to give us a whole number? No. So that one doesn't work. On the next one, 10 plus 1/4. Will that give us a whole number? No, that's going to give us a decimal. So that doesn't work. On C, we have 10 divided by 1/4. Now, if you divide by a fraction, you're actually multiplying by its reciprocal. So this would be 10 times 4, which is 40. And that one does give us a whole number. So that one works. On D, so now we have 1/4 divided by 10. Well, again, if you're dividing, when you're doing fractions, the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. So here, the reciprocal of that is 1/10. Well, that's definitely not giving us a whole number, so that doesn't work. And then on this one, CD, we have 10 times 1/4 divided by 10. 10s will just cancel off. We have 1/4. That's not a whole number. So the only answer there is C. All right, on the back. So now for 42, if x to the third is equal to 64, what is the value of 3x? Well, first we have to figure out what x is. So I have x to the third equals 64. Rewrite 64 so that we have something to the third power. Well, 64 is 4 to the third power. So, what's x? Well, it's just 4, because we can cross off the exponents that are the same. So x is 4. So now we want 3 times x. So 3 times 4 is 12. On 43, if the average of P, Q, R, and S is 10, what is the value of P plus Q plus R plus S? Well, in order to do an average, we have to add them up and divide by however many there are. So if I wrote this out, P plus Q plus R plus S, and divided by 4, because there's 4 values there, and then we know that the answer is 10. To get the values by themselves, you have to multiply by 4. So P plus Q plus R plus S is 40. So that's our answer. On 44, find the result when 8x minus 9 is subtracted from 3x plus 7. Now it's important you put this in the correct order. Here, I'm going to show my work over here off to the side. So for number 44, again, we're subtracting the 8x minus 9 from the 3x plus 7. So 3x plus 7 comes first. And then you're subtracting the 8x minus 9. So we need to distribute the negative. So this will become negative 8x and positive 9. And go ahead and get rid of the parentheses over here. So now it's just combining like terms. 3x and negative 8x is negative 5x. 7 and 9 add up to 16. So that's our result for number 44. I'm going to write that answer over there. So negative 5x plus 16. On 45, use the table below to answer the questions. How many more tickets did Bob sell than Jan? So this table shows Jan and Bob's number of tickets sold during May, week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4. This question is just looking at the totals. So we first need to add these all up. So total. So we got, let me clear this out, 85 plus 90 plus 80 plus 75 is 330. For Bob, 80 plus 85 plus 90 plus 85 is 340. How many more tickets did Bob sell than Nan? 10. What percent of tickets sold during May did Bob sell? So, again, percent, that's another way of talking about probability, right? So, he sold a total of 340. Out of how many tickets were sold total? The total. So, all together. So, add those two numbers up. Those two together is 670, right? So, it's over the total sold. So, 340 out of 670. That gives us 0.507, which as a percent, because it asked for it as a percent, 50.7%. All right, on number 46. Using the chart above, what percent of Joe's annual income is earned during June, July, and August? So, this one's a little hard to see. I would say that January looks like it says 3,000. February. I think there's 5 lines for each one. So I think that one's 2,400. And that one says 3,400. Your charts on the exam are a lot easier to read than this one. This is a very poor chart. Oh, wait. Sorry. I thought those were going up by twos. So I'm going up by ones. This is 22. This is 32. This is 34. May 35. 15. Looks like it's at 9. 29. 35. 37. 38. And finally, 33. So again, your chart on your exam is much easier to read than that. But there's all my numbers. We need to add them all up. So if we add all those up, 3,000 plus 22 plus 32 plus 34 plus 35 plus 15 plus 9 plus 29 plus 35 plus 37 plus 38 plus 33. Oh, hold on. I made one mistake. So. So that was the total, and then it wanted June, July, and August. So June, July, and August, 15, 9, and 29. So 5,300. So divide these, 5300, divided by 34,000. 0.15588. It keeps going. It wants a percent, so move the decimal over 2 places. So it'd be 15 point, let's just round to 1 decimal place there, 6%. Alright, again, charts on the exam are much easier to read than that one. That's way too small. So, 47. A cereal company estimates that 3.5% of all boxes are defective. If the warehouse creates 150,000 boxes per day, how many boxes are defective each day? So we just have to take the entire number and multiply by the percent that are defective. So 150,000 times 3.5%. Again, if you're plugging that into the calculator, then you'd want to say 50,000 times, if you don't have a percent key, you can type that as 0.035, which would be 5,250. Last year, gasoline was $1.60 per gallon. This year, gasoline is $2.20 per gallon. Find the percent of increase from last year to this year. So, again, we're basing it off of last year's price. So, last year's price has to go on the bottom. So, we have 2.20 over 1.60. 2.20 divided by 1.6. All right. Again, as a percent, we'd have to move the decimal 2 places. Now, it asked, find the percent increase from last year. All right. Is this the percent increase? What do you have to do with this? So the new price is 137.5% of the price from last year. But we're just looking for the increase. So last year's price would be 100% of itself. So we just have to subtract off the 100. So here, subtract the 100%. And the increase itself would be 37.5%. The other way that you could do this, instead of using the actual numbers there like I did, you could have found the difference between them first, and then did that difference over the 1.6, and that would also give you the correct percent. Again, either way works. On 49, last week, store sales were 350,000. This week, the store sales were 320,000. Find the percent decrease from last week to this week. So I'll go ahead and do this the other way that I was just explaining. So if we want to, we could go ahead and find the difference first here. So the difference between these two values is, so again, if we subtract, that's going to give us 30,000. So then finding the decrease, we could say, well, that 30,000 over the original amount, which was the 350,000. And when you divide that, it'd be 0.0857. And we're going to change that to a percent. Oops, move the decimal 2 places. 8 point, just round it off to 6%. That'd be the percent decrease. Again, if you wanted to, you could have done it the same way that I did the last problem. Did the 320,000 over the 350,000, and then you had to, again, subtract 100 to find the difference. And then 50, the final question here. This one, we have symbolic function again. So if I had A and B, then this is the equation. So 12 is going in for A, 3 is going in for B. So 2 times the square root of 12 minus 3. 12 minus 3 is 9. The square root of 9 is 3. 2 times 3 is 6. And that's the final answer. So that's the entire review now over in the last 2 days.